What if the greatest lie ever told was that you only have two eyes? There's a reason so many ancient cultures spoke of an inner eye, a hidden organ of perception that sees what the physical eyes cannot. In Egypt, it was the Eye of Horus, a sacred symbol of divine vision and protection. In India, it was the Ajna chakra, the energy center of intuition and spiritual sight. The Greeks spoke of the oracle's sight, a vision not of this world, but of the unseen currents beneath it. Modern science calls it the pineal gland, a tiny, mysterious structure buried deep in the brain. Crystalline, light-sensitive and biologically wired for perception beyond the ordinary, yet no one talks about it. Why? Because this gland, this third eye, isn't just metaphor. It's a dormant gateway, a portal to inner knowing, to higher consciousness, to the truth behind illusion. So what happened? Why did we stop seeing with it? Why was it forgotten, ignored, and, some say, deliberately calcified? Because once you awaken this inner eye, you stop believing what they want you to see. You start perceiving reality as it truly is, and the world you thought you knew begins to dissolve. What if your third eye didn't close? It simply forgot. And what if now it remembers? How to unlock the power of your third eye begins now. Part 1. The Third Eye. Across ancient civilizations. For thousands of years, across continents and cultures that never met, the same symbol kept appearing. An eye, but not one on the face. An eye placed in the center of the forehead, or hovering just above it. In Egypt, it was known as the Eye of Ra, or more mysteriously, the Ujat, a symbol of protection, power, healing, and spiritual sight. It wasn't just an ornament carved into temples. It was revered as a living force, the window through which the gods observed the world, and the gate through which mortals glimpsed the divine. In Hindu traditions, the third eye is the Ajna chakra, the sixth energy center in the subtle body. It governs intuition, clarity, and vision that transcends the physical. It's no accident that Hindu deities like Shiva are depicted with a glowing eye in the forehead, a mark of awakened perception. Buddhist iconography mirrors this with quiet intensity. Monks meditating beneath golden third eyes, symbolizing their ability to pierce illusion and perceive the Dharma. In ancient Greece, the oracles of Delphi didn't just guess the future. They entered altered states of consciousness, opening their inner eye to perceive subtle realities beyond linear time. Across all traditions, one truth remains. The third eye is not about fantasy. It's not superstition. It's a universal recognition. That true vision comes from within. The third eye sees energy. It senses truth. It detects the presence behind the mask and the reality beneath the surface. It was seen as the seat of wisdom, the bridge between heaven and earth, the organ through which the soul receives direct revelation. And most importantly, it was never meant to be closed. This is why the third eye was not just sacred. It was feared, because when it opens, the illusion breaks, the lies fall apart, and your perception becomes a weapon against ignorance, manipulation, and fear. But here's the secret the ancients hinted at again and again. This eye is not just a metaphor. It exists. It pulses. And science is only just beginning to catch up with what mystics knew millennia ago, because buried deep in the human brain, surrounded by darkness, yet sensitive to light, lies the biological counterpart to the ancient third eye. A crystalline structure, an energetic antenna, a forgotten organ of perception. So if the ancient myths were pointing to something real, what exactly were they describing? And how does this mysterious gland connect to light, awareness, and awakening? Let's step into the science, where biology meets mysticism. Part 2. The pineal gland, biology of a spiritual organ, buried in the center of your brain. Nestled between the two hemispheres, deep within the limbic system, lies a tiny gland, shaped like a pine cone, smaller than a grape, but more mysterious than any other organ in your body. This is the pineal gland, and for thousands of years, mystics and scientists alike have been captivated by its secrets. In the 17th century, the philosopher René Descartes famously called it the seat of the soul. He believed the pineal was the point where consciousness and the body connect, a bridge between matter and spirit. But long before Descartes, the ancients seemed to already know. Egyptian art featured pine cone-shaped staffs held by gods and initiates. The Vatican's court of the pine cone features a massive bronze pineal sculpture, hidden in plain sight. Why such reverence for something so small? Because the pineal gland is no ordinary organ. It's biologically unique. It's the only part of your brain not split into two hemispheres. And it's not shielded by the blood-brain barrier like other parts. It's directly bathed in blood, like your eyes, because in a way, it is an eye. Under a microscope, the pineal gland has photoreceptors. Just like your retina, it's sensitive to light even in total darkness. It produces melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep, circadian rhythms, and your sense of time. While still debated, some researchers suggest the pineal may produce trace amounts of DMT, the molecule behind mystical visions, near-death experiences, and spiritual breakthroughs. But that's just the beginning. Inside the pineal gland are piezoelectric crystals, structures that respond to pressure by releasing an electric charge. These crystals may allow the gland to pick up magnetic and energetic fields, like an internal antenna. Some studies show the pineal is sensitive to geomagnetic energy, lunar cycles, and even solar flares. In other words, your pineal gland might be a kind of biological satellite dish, tuned to frequencies the rest of your body can't perceive, in dreams, meditations, or altered states. When logic quiets and the inner world expands, it's the pineal that lights up, opening a gateway to vision without sight, time without clocks, and truth beyond words. This is not fantasy. This is biology meeting mysticism. Science now confirms what sages intuited. You were born with the equipment for higher perception. So the question is, why don't we see what we're meant to see? Why do most people never experience visions, insight, or deeper knowing? If the third eye is built into our bodies, what blinded it? In the next part, we'll uncover what dims this sacred organ and how to begin restoring its vision. Part 3. The systems that shut it down. If you were born with a sacred organ designed for inner vision, why can't you see through it? Why is the modern world blind to the subtle, to the intuitive, to the higher truths that ancient seers spoke of? The answer is simple and devastating. Your third eye was never broken. It was shut down, deliberately. Let's start with the physical. The pineal gland, so sensitive, so precise, is under constant assault in modern life. Fluoride, once introduced into drinking water as a public health measure, has been shown to accumulate in the pineal gland more than in any other organ. It calcifies the gland, making it dense, rigid, unresponsive. Then there's artificial light, especially the blue light from screens and LED bulbs. Your pineal gland relies on darkness to activate. But in today's world, we flood our nights with stimulation. The gland never gets to rest, never gets to awaken. Overstimulation of the senses is another weapon. Constant media, noise, anxiety, information overload. We're always reacting, never reflecting, and in that chaos, the soft voice of inner truth gets drowned out. But this isn't just about modern toxins. The war on the third eye began much earlier. When the church rose to power, mystics became heretics. Those who claimed to see visions, burned. Those who heard inner guidance, silenced. The Gnostics, the Sufis, the shamans, the yogis, all taught that truth came from within. But truth from within can't be controlled. So it was labeled dangerous and buried. Spiritual sovereignty was replaced by dogma. Direct connection to the divine was replaced by priests, pulpits, and hierarchy. Even education was rewritten. Schools began training minds for logic and obedience, not for creativity, intuition, or inner awareness. In medicine, too, intuition and energy were dismissed. Only the material mattered. Only what could be seen, measured, and dissected was considered real. The soul became superstition, and so, over generations, the inner eye closed. The sacred silence was forgotten. The compass turned outward. But here's the secret. The third eye never dies. It only waits. Waits for the day you unplug, the day you go still, the day you question what you've been taught, and feel something stir inside. A flicker of perception, a glimmer of memory, a knowing beyond thought. Because no matter how many systems try to blind it, the eye still remembers how to see. And now it's time to remember what was taken. In the next part, we'll explore how to awaken your third eye. Through ancient techniques, sacred practice, and deep inner stillness. Part 4, how to activate the third eye. Safely. Opening the third eye isn't a game. It's not about seeing spirits or predicting the future. It's about seeing truth. The truth of who you are and the illusion you were born into. But that kind of vision requires preparation. Because the third eye doesn't open through force. It opens through frequency. Let's begin with the foundation. The breath. Your breath is not just air, it's a sacred current. Practices like box breathing, alternate nostril breathing, or deep rhythmic inhale-exhales help calm the nervous system and synchronize the hemispheres of the brain. This balance creates the energetic harmony needed to gently stimulate the pineal gland, the biological core of the third eye. Next, meditation. Stillness is the signal your inner world has been waiting for. When you sit in silence with your awareness focused between the eyebrows, you begin to wake up that ancient center of perception. Add in candle gazing or guided inner light visualizations, and something deeper begins to stir. Then there is sound. Not noise, resonance. Chanting sacred syllables like OM or SOHUM isn't superstition. It's vibrational tuning. The sound reverberates in the skull, massaging the pineal gland, aligning your inner rhythm with the cosmic pulse. Modern tools now echo ancient truths. Binaural beats tuned to 963 Hz or theta-gamma brainwave patterns can gently shift your brain into altered states of awareness. Used with intention, they can clear the fog between your outer eyes and the inner one. Let's not forget sacred geometry. The Sri Yantra, the Eye of Horus, the flower of life. These are not just spiritual art, they are visual mantras. Meditating on them or surrounding your space with their symmetry entrains your mind to the fractal intelligence of the universe. Crystals also play a role, not as magic objects, but energetic amplifiers. Amethyst, lapis lazuli, and clear quartz resonate with third eye frequencies. Placed gently over the brow during meditation, they assist in directing energy to the pineal center. But none of this matters if the inner space is clouded. And that's where the real work begins: emotional clearing and shadow integration. If your energy body is cluttered with repressed fear, shame, or guilt, your visions will be distorted or overwhelming. That's why ancient initiates fasted. That's why they journaled, cried, released, forgave. Because clarity only emerges in a purified vessel. So, before you seek higher perception, ask yourself, what am I still unwilling to see within myself? The third eye doesn't just show you the truth, it demands truth. And when you're ready, when your breath is steady, your heart is clear, and your intention is honest, the eye will begin to open, not with fireworks, but with knowing. A deep, calm awareness that everything is connected, that you were never separate, that you are not the mind watching the world. You are the consciousness behind it all. And in the next part, we'll explore what happens when that eye fully opens, and you begin to see not with your mind, but with the light inside you. Part 5. Living with an awakened third eye. So what happens after the third eye opens? Not everyone sees visions. There may be no flashing lights or spirit guides appearing in the mirror, but the changes are undeniable. Because this awakening doesn't start in your outer vision. It begins in your perception of reality. You start to notice things others miss. Synchronicities appear with uncanny timing. A number, a word, a dream, a stranger's phrase, and somehow they all connect. As if reality is speaking to you in symbols. You feel more present, and yet more expanded. You enter a room and sense energy before anyone speaks. You know when someone's words and vibration don't match. You feel truth in your gut before your mind can analyze. This is soul-level intuition, a knowing that rises from within, not logic. You're no longer bound by surface appearances. You start to see through illusions, not just societal ones, but the ones within yourself. You question old beliefs. You drop roles that no longer serve. You stop reacting and start responding with awareness. Because once the third eye awakens, you realize life isn't linear. It's layered. Every moment becomes a metaphor. Every relationship, a reflection. You don't just live. You read your life like a sacred text. This shift can be disorienting at first. You may feel alone, disconnected from old patterns and people. But in that solitude, you find your center. You begin to trust the flow. Not because it's predictable, but because you are aligned. And slowly, fear fades. Not because danger disappears, but because you no longer identify with fear. You become the observer. The inner stillness behind every emotion. The calm eye in the storm. And from that place, you start to live differently. You make decisions with clarity. You speak with precision. You move with purpose, guided not by pressure, but by presence. This is the true gift of the third eye. Not psychic tricks, but spiritual sovereignty, an awakened capacity to see. With your heart, your body, your knowing, and in that clarity you find something else, compassion. Because when you see truth, you also see pain, confusion, and the veils others still wear. But you no longer judge. You simply remember who they are, beneath it all. Just like you remembered who you were. And as you walk through life with this vision, you radiate light. You don't preach, you don't convince, you embody. And that's what changes everything. Final image. A figure sits in stillness, eyes closed, no flash, no flames. But within, a universe opens. 1,000 symbols rise, and the truth shines. Not from above, but from within. Final question. If the veil lifted right now, would you have the courage to look? Or more importantly, to see what's already been looking through you? Final CTA. If your third eye is the key to inner truth, then maybe it's time to open it. Because sight is limited, but vision, true, soul-born vision, changes everything. Subscribe now and start seeing with more than your eyes. Start remembering who you were and why you came here. Next episode teaser, the rituals of ancient Egyptian priests. Before temples became ruins and gods became myths. There were rituals, powerful, precise, and divine. Next time we uncover the sacred science behind them and why they were never meant to be forgotten.